Hey there Luma, this is Denise from LoomaHat.com, and this time I'm showing you how to knit a cable organizer. This project is so practical and so customizable to whatever color you like, whatever length you like, whatever width you like. And I'm even going to show you how to make your fabric a little softer if that's what you like. And placing buttons, say 2 of them, one above the other, allows you to make it very adjustable. You can put the buttons side to side, put 2 buttonholes, 1 buttonhole, as many as you want. But for this video, we're going to focus on this little one right here with 1 button and 1 buttonhole, and that is because most of your regular charging cords will fit this one perfectly. And this happens to be my personal one, and it works great. Now, to make the other ones, you can follow the pattern, and you could get that at LoomaHat.store. All right, let's get to those supplies you're gonna need to knit this awesome project. You need any large gauge loom in any shape with at least 7 pegs. You need 20 yards of medium worsted weight number 4 yarn, hook, needle, scissors, and optional stitch markers. All right, without further ado, let's start with the cast on. We're using a single strand of that worsted weight yarn. I'm going to secure mine to the anchor peg using a simple knot. You can use a slip knot if that's more comfortable for you, and then take the working yarn back behind the first peg, and we're going to go ahead and wrap those 7 pegs. You'll see that I have a stitch marker on peg 2 and then on peg 6, and I'll show you why those stitch markers are there. All right, we're at peg 7. Go ahead and wrap peg 7 again twice, and take the bottom loop over the top and knit off, and pull on that to tighten that stitch. And then we're going to turn around because we're knitting flat, so come back and knit that one again, this time using a U-wrap, and take the bottom loop over the top and knit off. Same thing, we're going to go ahead and U-wrap, knit stitch the next 6. So this is our cast on. We wrapped the 7 stitches, we turn around, and we're going to wrap the 7 stitches. And once you've done all 7 of them, you're done with that cast on. And by the way, use any cast on that works for you. This happens to be the one I like most because I can tighten my stitches after. All right, when your cast on is done, you're ready for row 1, where you're going to knit 1, purl 1, knit 3, purl 1, and knit 1. Okay, remember we're knitting flat, so we're going to turn in the opposite direction, and we're going to knit that stitch. So there's my knit 1. And now to purl, put the working yarn under the existing loop from the top. You're going to scoop up to create a new loop. Right here's my new loop. I'm going to take the existing loop off the peg, put the new loop on it, pull my working yarn and tighten it. And now I'm going to do those 3 knit stitches. So here's 1. And for the knit stitch, remember, you're taking the working yarn and you're putting it over the existing loop. Take the bottom one over the top and knit off. This is the U-wrap. You can use the flat, which I do very often use, or even the true versions of the knit stitch. All right, now we're going to do that next purl stitch. So put it under the existing loop, scoop up to create a new loop, take the existing loop off the peg, put the new one on, tighten your working yarn, and then you're ready to do that last knit stitch. So that was row 1, and you're now going to turn around and you're just going to knit the row. So you're knitting 7 stitches. That is row 2. So turn around, and again we're using the U-wrap version of the knit stitch. There's peg 7. I'm going to half wrap, take bottom loop over the top and knit off. Keep going. You're going to knit that whole row. Right here I am back on peg 3, peg 2, peg 1, and I'm done with row 2. And now I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna take that knot off the anchor peg. I don't need it anymore. My yarn is secure. And now You're ready for rows 3 through 20, where all you're going to do is repeat rows 1 and 2 9 more times. So for those that don't know, let me show you what a repeat looks like. Here you have rows 3 and 4. They are exactly 1 and 2. 5 and 6, they're 1 and 2. 7 and 8 are 1 and 2, and 9 and 10 are 1 and 2. So there are 4 repeats. You're going to do these 9 times. Once you finish your repeats, you're ready for row 21, where you're going to knit 1, purl 1, knit 1, E-wrap 1, knit 1, purl 1, knit 1. All right, let's get to it. So again, knit peg 1, and then on peg 2, you're going to do the purl stitch. And as you can see, my stitch markers are where I'm doing my purl stitch. So that's why I have the stitch markers on 2 and 6. All right, then you're going to do another knit stitch, and that's going to be followed by an E-wrap. And to do this, you're going to completely wrap that peg and knit off. And then the next one, you can U-wrap or flat or true. And then you're going to do a purl stitch. As you can see, again, I have my stitch marker there. And you're going to end the row, of course, with your knit stitch. All right. So row 21 was your setup for the buttonhole, and this is when you're really going to get it done. On row 22, you're going to knit 3, yarn over, knit 2 together, and then knit 2. This sounds a lot more difficult than it actually is. Just follow me. We're going to first do those 3 knit stitches. So you guys know how to knit stitch. You're going to do 3 of them. So peg 7, peg 6, and peg 5, get the knit stitch. And then peg 4, which is where you did that E-wrap, you're going to take it off the peg and unravel the E-wrap and bring it over to where you need the knit 2 together. And that's where your buttonhole is, right there. Okay, you have 2 stitches next to it. So just take your yarn, your working yarn, and basically lay it over that peg where the yarn over is, and then take those 2 loops and knit off. That's your knit 2 together. That's it. It sounds like a whole lot more, but it isn't. And then you're just gonna knit the next 2 pegs, and that's it. That is row 22, and your buttonhole is done. You now know that you can use the yarn over and knit 2 together anytime you want to do a buttonhole on anything else, including an additional buttonhole. And then you're ready for row 23, where you're going to knit 1, purl 1, knit 3, purl 1, knit 1, which you've done before. So let's get to that first peg where we're going to do that knit stitch, then do a purl stitch, which you guys already know how to do and I don't need to explain. Yay! And then we're going to do those 3 knit stitches. Again, I'm going to use the U-wrap version of the knit stitch, and I probably should have gone real quick through these 3 ones, but yeah, let's take it easy and you could get to see it again. We're going to do another purl stitch right here, and then we're going to end the row with a knit stitch, and the next step, hooray hooray, is the bind off. The basic bind off is done over 2 pegs, so you're always working 2 pegs, okay? When you begin, you're going to knit off the first 2 pegs. You're only doing this at the beginning. Then you're going to take your loop off the second peg and put it back on the first peg, tighten the stitch, take the bottom loop over the top and knit off, and then take that first loop, that peg off the first loop, and put it on the second one, and you did 1 bind off. From this point on, you're only going to knit off the second peg. Then take the loop off the second, put it on the first, tighten your loop, take the bottom loop over the top, take the loop off the first peg and put it on the second one. That's 2 pegs you knit off. Now knit the second peg. Take the loop off the second peg, put it on the first peg, tighten, knit off, and take that loop off the first peg. You guys get how to do this, correct? Now you can use any bind off that you want to use. I suggest using this one. It's just a good, straight, clean bind off. I prefer to use it. And you'll see when we're finished how well it looks, especially considering that you've done that buttonhole. Okay, so I'm going to, and right here, here are the last two where you're doing the same thing. You're gonna knit off the second peg, take the loop off the second, bring it back to the first, tighten your stitch and knit that off, and then just pull that loop out like this. Get your scissors, go ahead and cut the working yarn, leave yourself a tail, and I'll show you why later, and then just pull that completely out. Just pull that, and there you go. Now what we're going to do is we're going to stretch those stitches. So grab the top and the bottom and just stretch, and you'll see that it does start to curl. So even though you have knits and purls, this does curl in, and you have a few options for that, and I'll walk you through them in a bit. All right, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to tighten the cast on, which is, like I said, it's why I did what I did. I use that U-wrap, and I take the knot that I initially did, and then I pull the string out of that loop, and I know that makes a lot of people nervous, but trust me, it's okay. Pull that off. Now go to the other end and start pulling on those loose loops. As you pull one, the next one will show you where you need to go next. It's not that many loops, so you don't have to be overly concerned. Like I said, just you'll see that the loops are really big. When you get to the last one, just pull on that string and then make a knot with it. And there you go. See, done. Easy. You don't have to panic. Now with this, you have two options. You can just work with it like that. That curl kind of goes away, or you can steam it, or steam block, or wet block. But you see how nice and clean it looks. You see how already it's kind of going away. So you decide. Now let's weave in the end and reinforce the buttonhole. So I'm going to take the long strand of yarn that's where the buttonhole is, and I'm going to thread a needle with it. And I'm using a yarn needle that's kind of short. It makes it a lot easier than the really long ones. And I'm going to thread it through the side, and that's going to finish off the look of it on the top and neaten things up. And then I'm going to take my needle, and I'm going to carry that thread to where the buttonhole is, because I want to reinforce it. You don't have to do this, but I suggest that you do. It makes the buttonhole look a lot better, and it protects it. It's just a good idea. So you see that I'm carrying it to where the buttonhole is. And now all I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of weave around the buttonhole. And I'm not sure that this is considered, well, this is not really a mattress because you're not bringing two sides together. I'm not sure. I don't recall what this is called. It's very common in cross stitch and stuff. And all you're doing is taking the strand of yarn into the middle of the buttonhole, and then just coming out. And what this is going to do, because you're going to put it on and take it off, you know, maybe more often than you would think. And you want to make sure that you're not going to stretch the yarn to the point where the buttonhole is going to be useless. So that's why we do this. It's not necessary, but I highly, highly recommend that you take this extra step to reinforce the buttonhole. And I was just doing that with any buttonhole on any project, not just this one. And once you're done with that, then what you're going to do now is to weave in that leftover strand, and you should have enough where you can do that. So I'm going to go in through some of the stitches that are on the back side of it, and you can clearly see where the back side of it is. So I went down, and now just to make sure I'm going in the opposite direction, I'm taking the excess strand up in the opposite direction, and then I'm gonna just take my needle, pull on the strand just a little bit, and cut, and then the strand will just hide and it's gone. So you reinforced your buttonhole and you weaved in your end, and you're gonna do the same thing in the other end. You're gonna weave it in. And the reason I asked you to leave just enough is so that you can weave it in a way that you know that that yarn, that strand, is not going to come out. You can even wash this. You can even put this this little project in the washer if you need to for any reason. And then if you weave in your ends correctly, you don't have to worry about anything happening with that. All right, so just keep going. You know, you're going to go in one direction, and then you come back in the opposite direction, get your scissors and cut off the excess yarn, and we can move on to the next part. Now, get a strand of leftover yarn, and this worsted weight is actually made up of 4-ply, so I'm going to unravel it. I'm going to take 2 of the 4-ply, and that's what I'm going to use to secure my button to the project. And I got a smaller needle. This one is going to fit through the hole of the button, so make sure that you get one that's going to work with yours. And so I thread this smaller needle, and then I put my button, I'm putting it right at the, almost at the edge of my project. And remember, you can put 1 or 2 of them. And then go ahead and put your needle through that button. Leave a little part of your strand out because we're going to make a knot with it. So go through the other hole with your needle and go ahead and feed it through. And then we're going to take the 2 sides and we're going to make a nice tight knot. In fact, I usually knot this twice. Now, you can go through the button again, and it's probably a good idea that you do. I made another one like this, and it worked out fine. But I would suggest going through the holes 2 times, and then come here and make your knot. And you're pretty good by just doing that, and then you're just going to cut the excess. So make sure that you make the knot really, really tight. If you don't, your button is going to be loose and it's just going to drive you nuts. All right, cut your excess yarn, and your button is now attached to your project, and that part is done. Now let's talk about the curling on this project. I'm going to show you how to get rid of that, and this should be done before you put the button on. So in my particular case, I'm going to do something called steam blocking, and I'm going to use an iron. If you have any other type of tool that you can use, equipment that you can put steam on, you could just use your hand to flatten it out. But in my case, I have this iron that allows me to work with acrylic yarn, and I can actually iron the curls out. But like I said, you could just use steam and your hand. And as you can see, that's it. Lickety split. I get rid of the curls, and the fabric is nice and soft. You can also do something called wet blocking, by the way. All right, so that's how you get the curls out. Now let's talk about how you adjust the size of the project. Now quickly, let me tell you how you're going to adjust it to make it a little bigger. This one, as you can see, it is wider. It was done using 9 pegs, and I put 3 buttons. I can do that because I added more rows, and so the 3 buttons allow me to have a project that's more adjustable. So to make it wider, you add more pegs. To make it longer, you add more rows. To make it shorter, you put less rows. Like you can tell on this one, it's more narrow because it only has 3 in the middle. This one has 5 in the middle. And the same number of purl stitches, which is just 1 purl on each side. And that's it. That's how I adjusted it. All right, guys, like I said at the beginning, 3 of these sizes are available on the written pattern, including the one that we worked on now. Be sure to get your copy at LoomaHat.store. While you're there, sign up for the newsletter so that you can always get a coupon when new patterns arrive, and you can get occasional freebies. While you're at it and you're here, I want to thank you and ask you to please like, comment, and share the video, because those things don't cost anything, but they help me immensely to continue to give you all of these videos for free. All right, that's all, Looma. Be sure to come back and loom with me again.